So this morning, say hi to Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
We were watching a video on a site. There was also, I saw a different one on the same site the other day, and I like this guy, Dr. Steve Turley, but it's about homelessness. And today's, I didn't like the guy, and yet they echo many of the same sentiments about things. The one I was watching today was talking about in Seattle, there was a park area or a green area. It didn't look parkish to me. It just looked like some woods. And there was a big pile of trash. And so there had been an encampment or something nearby that got chased away. And then there was all this trash that was left. Now, and so the focus of the whole video was about how supposedly Trump wants to put people into mental hospitals, homeless people. And that a lot of people in the U.S. think that homeless people should be shoved off to an island or something.
Or put in mental hospitals or put in
Yeah,
rehab or something.
mental hospitals, whatever. Here's a few salient points. I think that everybody is operating from a media-controlled image. If we don't trust the media nowadays to tell the truth about other things, then why would you think they're telling the truth about homeless people? Now, I know that a lot of you see homeless people on a regular basis, and so you think what you're viewing is the truth. To some extent, that's right. Let's start at the top. The pile of trash that they had volunteers come in to pick up. For one, why did they have to get volunteers? People should be volunteering, but still, it is the government's place to maintain the cleanliness of our country. Secondly, why does everybody assume that all the trash in this pile, and apparently there was 10 tons of trash in a pile they picked up. Why does everybody assume it all came from homeless people? We were watching it. They were pulling out barbell sets, organs, like playing an organ, and large things that would reside in houses. I don't see many homeless people accruing giant quantities of heavy items because, but what I do see everywhere, in every state, in every city, is illegal dumping. People don't want to pay to take their shit to a dump, and so they just, I've done it a bunch because I needed to get rid of shit. Not trying to make excuses about anything. So there's all these assumptions that all this shit is all homeless people shit. But here's another thing. The biggest assumption that everybody has about homeless people is that they are all drug addicted, they are all crazy.
Who has the money?
Okay, so you wanna categorize an entire group, a demographic of people, as to all being identical and sharing the same human faults and flaws that they all do. They all are exactly the same. They're all crazy. They're all drug addicted. Really? Because if I did this against women or some race, blacks, Latinos, or Asians, or anybody else, I would immediately be decried as a racist, a sexist, or probably get sued, whatever. Then there's also the point of the word homeless. Means they don't have a home. That's the big problem. Because there's no fault that homeless people have anymore. I could find a parallel sister person in society and 10 more that share all the same flaws and faults. It is not the homeless people keeping the cartels in business.
Yeah, no shit.
They don't have the money to get a home. How are they supporting these trillion-dollar cartels? What? That is the voracious, incalculable appetite for everything that Americans have, whether it's goods from China or dope from Mexico or whatever. And if there was any doubt about that, go into a grocery store and look at the entirely full aisles of wine, beer, and booze. The reason those fill entire aisles is because they sell for quite a bit. And if you go to a Bevmo, for instance, you're going to see rich people in there, and they literally have shopping carts heaping over the top that the box boy is bringing out to their car and loading in their trunk. I drank alcohol most of my life. I have never filled my trunk with bottles of booze. I mean, it's just like
an alcoholic's dream.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I would feel guilty about myself if I filled my whole trunk up with booze. So let's get off the hypocrisy there. Then there's the mentally ill part. When I look around at regular society, you can't tell me that homeless people have a monopoly on mental illness because, well, let's start with the masks. There's still idiots out there wearing masks. Like if you got a do-rag over your face and you think it's going to keep out a molecular pathogen and that's going to save your life, you're a fucking moron. I wish you'd take the mask off, suck that pathogen down, and just die. We have a fucked up genetic pool. Someone didn't start weeding out the stupid people a long time ago. Or any kind of other kind of totalitarian things that they, I see people in cars with their windows up, wearing a mask, a shield, gloves. Are they afraid to breathe their own air? I don't want to breathe my own because I could infect myself. What? So, mental illness and drug addiction, those are out the window. What it is you just don't like poor people. Amen. That might have been, when we first got homeless and I had run into, I had hung on for years in an unsustainable financial situation, and yet I couldn't avoid it. Of course, actually, I should have been able to avoid it because the people that owned the house that we were in still owe me thousands and thousands of dollars. And nobody enforced that, but the judge that enforced the illegal eviction was. So, but when Biden got into office and he opened the border up and millions and millions of illegals poured into this country and were handed housing. Disabled vets were getting kicked out of their housing to house illegal aliens. They're not from this country. They don't have citizenship rights. None of it. I don't give a fuck what California thinks or says. They're a bunch of communists that are trying to destroy this fabric of American society. And the bottom line is that almost everybody has fallen victim to the propaganda put forth by the biggest news agencies about the reasons of homelessness. Well, but all that aside, who gives a shit when you have all these other people? Before you send money out of this country to help somebody, before you let someone from another country into this country to help them, before all that,
your own fucking people.
This is America, and it's for the citizens of America, of which most of the homeless are.
All of the homeless, basically.
Pretty much. And so, if there's enough money available to help other people, don't be helping them, and meanwhile, having these psychopathic, fucking power-hungry, greedy, graft-taking cops and courts. And this thought about how they shouldn't have the right to vote. I don't know where that ever came in. Or they should be put in. Who the fuck is it? Wait, let me finish, please.
Stop.
Who is anybody to tell another person what the fuck they could do or what they need to achieve? So you're saying they didn't come up to your standard of success. What if I don't like that standard? What if I don't feel like making a certain amount of money before I can enjoy my life? And then I'll be an old son of a bitch and I won't be able to have any fun. Whereas I could just have fun now and then not be so concerned about greedy aspects of money acquisition. Okay, so we don't all share the same dream. And my dream's been a fucking nightmare. I am a vet, though. I am an American citizen, though. So is Tracy. And we deserve all the constitutional rights, and including every one of them. Those are rights. They're not privileges granted by you guys. And they're not privileges granted by the courts. Those were put into place when the country was founded. And that's my right. It's no stronger or less than your rights. You want to be secure in your household, and yet the cops don't even regard that anymore. Now they're just making incursions into regular society. What did you fucking people think was going to happen when they got rid of all the homeless, or they start running out of them? They need to justify their paycheck no matter what kind of fucking anti-constitutional ways there is. In California, they talk about, Trump's against the Constitution. Well, I know what is against the Constitution. Victimizing people because they don't have money and they don't have a place to live. If you're going to put, and I have personally experienced and witnessed all of what I'm talking about, you got all these people jumping the border and you're putting them up, giving them food, medical, housing, money.
Yep.
They're all showered and rested, and you got a bunch of harangued, dirty people that are desperate, and they, and like us, we had our house stolen. How dare you, America, and how dare anybody? If this is a time of awakening, then wake the fuck up. Don't just wake up enough to solve your little problems and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
That's not what this is anymore. We're not doing that anymore. This world needs to change. And lastly, I know that you find homeless people probably visually offensive and definitely societally offensive. What did you think was going to happen when you have American citizens suddenly exiled due to job loss, death of their family? They're pushed out of society. and
They're victimized.
persecuted, prosecuted. They don't know why. One day they were, living their life. They had friends, they had family, and then those people all fall into the same propaganda scheme you do. Then the next day they're out on the street and there's no one to call really,
No.
because nobody gives a shit. Once your balance sheet goes down to a certain amount, fuck family, fuck friends, they're all.
Yep.
And we've had some people hang in there for a bit, but then sooner or later, they just, they don't care.
We gave you $20. Why aren't you off the street?
Yeah, and so the problem is that America they can't solve their own problems. So they really want to be this champion of liberal democracy, and we're going to solve everybody else's problems. Hey, here's an idea. Before you want to complain about how dirty my house is, why don't you pick up the socks and the toys and the crap around your own?
Amen.
You know what I mean? I'm sick of everybody assuming they know what the fuck to do about homelessness. They know what the fuck homelessness is. You have no idea. It's all this thing with everything that's happened in the last 5 years has been a slap in the face, and it's offensive. So why wouldn't I want to be offensive back? Because that's another right. I got the right to free speech, and my speech says fuck you. You want to help all these other fucking people, pieces of shit, that now you're kicking them out? But at the time you were all fine with it. Well, how about you give every homeless person in America all the money, housing, and shit for 4 or more years, and then you can make that determination. But until you give someone a chance, or how about this? Let people do their own thing and just keep the cops out of their fucking business. I mean, they just hound people.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it's like to go days and days and days without sleep, without showers, without money, without anything, just because everybody's watching the same news show or reading the same paper. You don't know. So until you know, how about zip the pie and just, try to be of service. Don't be such judgmental freaks. If you're going to fucking look at everybody else in the world as if, let's explore their human potential, then start in America. Start at home first, because everybody out here needs a break. And also, they're not all the same. A lot of them are paid crisis actors that are paid to be offensive on Front Street, and the fentanyl folders, the creepies. You got crooks hiding in the whole thing. There's fucking straight up crazies, and that's the ones we should be taking care of. But more than that, you have this subversive group of people that is paid by the government to come out here and make homeless people look like shit. So somebody should uncover that shit first, eh?